All right, let's talk about Marcus Golden. Marcus Golden, 6'3", 260 pounds, 29 years old. In 2015, he was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals in the second round with the 58th overall pick. Justin, he was a free agent addition for the New York Giants in 2019, and he's technically a one again because, Justin, we signed the rarely used, I think it's only been used one time by the Patriots, LeGarrette Blount, the unrestricted free agent tender, which means he comes back for his contract at a 110% rate. But with his 10-sack, $1 million bonus, Justin, we get him this year at $5.125 million. And I was getting crap for saying that he was going to get $8.5 million. People were like, that's all he's going to get? You're crazy. We got him for over $3 million less. Justin, you can argue that this guy was the best defender on the Giants last year. I want to make that argument, but you can make that argument. Marcus Golden was a really good player, a sack getter for a team that needed it. What do you got on the cat, who's like your best friend, or you feel like, or you think he is? He doesn't even remember who you are.
No, we're best friends. He definitely does remember me. But Marcus Golden, let's go back to his high school career for a second. He was a running back and a linebacker at Afton High School. Guessing that's in St. Louis, Missouri. It is in Missouri. Yes, it is Missouri. His junior season.
I blew a tire in Missouri one time. They all said they called it Missouri. It was the first time I ever saw a 30-pack in my entire life.
Wow. Big day. Big day. His junior season saw him set a record in the school for 168 tackles and 16 sacks, while he also ran for 1,100 yards and 16 scores as a running back. As a senior, he ran for a record 2,264 yards and 30 touchdowns, while also making 108 tackles and 10 sacks as a senior in high school. That's pretty darn good, Bobby Skinner.
Yeah, it is pretty dang good. Justin, in 2019, as a New York Giant, he had 72 total tackles, 10 sacks, and 13 tackles for loss, which those two categories was the team leader by a good amount, over double the sacks. And I think he was like a good 5 more than Dalvin Tomlinson for tackles for loss. And 27 QB hits. Justin,
which is
he's
awesome.
A good passer.
Which is,
10 sacks.
Yeah.
Who's the last guy to get us 10 sacks? Was it JPP? I mean, Vernon didn't get 10 sacks for us. I think it was JPP. And I cannot stand the people who are saying, oh, well, they're all covered sacks. It's like, well, if this guy can get 10 covered sacks on a team that had I know we've made this point over and over again, but if he could get 10 covered sacks on a team that had some of the worst coverage in the NFL, imagine what he could do with some decent coverage. He's a playmaker. He made plays for us. I'm a big fan of Marcus Golden, and I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, some of his deeper stats, and I don't feel too bad about reading some of these off because he actually did get a decent amount of snaps. He got 83% of the snaps. So, first of all, I do want to say this before I read some of those stats. 27 QB hits, that's nothing to sleep on. That's pretty darn good. We're not talking about a guy who got 10 sacks and only hit the quarterback 15 times. That's pretty darn good. He got consistent pressure. I mean, it's 16 QB hurries, 14 quarterback knockdowns, 44 pressures. Now, I'm going off of Pro Football Reference. There's a good chance that Pro Football Focus has him at more pressures because Pro Football Focus overestimates pressures. Meanwhile, Pro Football Reference doesn't give you as much pressures, or they're less lenient with it. So that's why it's frustrating as someone who likes to look at stats.
Go
because
with Pro Football Reference. Go with the people who aren't lenient.
That's true. So 44 pressures, which is still pretty darn good. And also, in all those opportunities with a total of 72 combined tackles, only missed 6 tackles last year, missed tackle percentage around 8%, which if you're less than 10%, that's pretty darn good, especially as a linebacker, edge rusher. Bobby, good football player. Very glad he is back. Unfortunate, crappy situation for him that he had a 10-sack season. He's nearing age 30, and he didn't get the big bucks. But, if we're talking about, what we want that's good for the New York Football Giants, it's the best scenario that we can get.
Yeah, my heart truly goes out to a guy who's making $5 million this year. I was heartbroken to see that this guy's going to make $5 million in a year. Just truly, I like to give you a hard time on the Golden stuff.
Yeah.
I like Golden, and like you said, I was rooting for him to get his payday. Justin, the reason he's kind of somewhat controversial player is because people think we like this player. He's a good edge player. It's like, well, he's not a dominant edge player. It's like, no, he's not. but he's a good edge player. Like, not everybody can be a dominant player. He's not a dominant guy. He's not going to go out there and just tear up your offensive tackle all games, but he's a guy who's going to take advantage of your mistakes. So when an offensive tackle makes mistakes, Golden will take advantage of that. When you put a running back on him, he's going to take advantage of that. When you put a tight end on him, he's going to take advantage of that every time. He's got really good hands. So when you mess up or you put a running back or a tight end on him, he's going to win that battle every time. And that's what good football players do, okay? Not everyone can be physically dominated. Not everyone can be Khalil Mack, TJ Watt. You make your money in this NFL by being someone who takes advantage of his mistakes on the defense. And that's something that Markus Golden does. And hopefully with some more blitzing and different situations and a Patrick Graham who does different types of things, hopefully we can force other players into mistakes and let Golden eat another year.
Yeah, 4 of his 10 sacks came after week 10, so it's not even that we got to a point where it's like, all right, Markus Golden is the Giants' best pass rusher. So even though he might have, you can make the argument, well, he takes advantage of tight ends. He takes advantage of poor tackle play. He takes advantage of, not being touched on a single play. Well, it was known at a certain point last year that Markus Golden was the Giants' best pass rusher and the guy and if there's one guy you need to worry about coming off the edge, it's him. But 4 of his 10 sacks did come after week 10. So, Bobby, the only thing that I'm thinking of is, and again, I said this stat so many times. I've said it till a lot of our listeners are blue in the face. The research that shows that guys are a lot better their second year coming off their torn ACL. 2019, that was Markus Golden's second year coming off that torn ACL. And when you're in that second year coming off that injury, that is the best production and the best your body feels almost in your career. So Golden, he's going to be turning 30 this season. I don't know the kind of production that we're going to get from him. I'm confident that it is going to be good production. I'm confident that a lot of the pieces around Golden, like some of these interior defensive linemen that's playing next to him, and then even the edge rushers on the other side of him, Fackrell's in addition. We're hoping O'Shane takes a step up. You would think that those guys would also help Golden maybe not even take a step up, but just meet the production that he met last year. And if everyone else around him could take that step up. But Bobby, that is the one thing that I'm most worried about, that, that was it. The research says you have your best season that 2 years removed from the injury. And now we're past that season. So now, what do we expect? We don't know.
I mean, I don't expect him to take another step. But
but I'm worried about
was last year. I'm happy with
a dramatic step down. That's what I'm worried about.
Why would you expect that?
Because we're the New York Football Giants and bad things happen to us.
I'm not expecting it. He's not another contract year, so my man needs to put in the work. So yeah, he's not a guy who's going to drop back into coverage, but he's until Zimenez makes that step forward, he's the best pure pass rusher on the team. And a team that needs pure pass rushers. So that's why I got frustrated with people who are like, we don't need to bring him back. Let the young guys play. It's like, if those guys are going to be good, they're going to be good, regardless if Golden's on this team. So let Golden play, okay? Bring Golden back on this cheap deal and let him be good. Let our defense give our offense chances to win football games. And that's all I'm asking for out of this defense this year. I'm not asking this defense to be good this year. I'm just saying give our offense a chance to outscore teams. And I think Golden helps us in that area.
Yeah, you mentioned when we were talking about O'Shane Zimenez and his PPP about hesitation, not hesitation, but a good recoverability if you don't beat a guy off the edge, which Golden's not going to do. Golden's just not going to run around a guy on the outside. I don't think he has that elite quickness. But if a quarterback is going to be stepping up in the pocket, Golden is very good at getting that separation, and it takes time. That's the only bad thing. It takes time to remove yourself from that tackle, find that quarterback that is stepping up in the pocket and making a sack that way. That's where I feel Golden is at his best, when quarterbacks aren't getting rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds or less. That's when he's at his best. So hopefully he can continue to thrive in that role, and he'll be able to eat that way.
Yeah, let the man eat. You got anything else on him?
Rooting for him. There's no singular giant on this team that I think I'm just personally more invested in, and I'm just rooting for their personal success than Markus Golden.
Unbelievable that you're not rooting for the quarterback of of our team to have the most success. All right, that's it. That's the show. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Until then, let's go Big Blue.